What is going on YouTube? What is up? What is going on? It's another Call on Tyrone early edition, 3:30 edition. Um, got my Rattler or Die shirt on, because that's all Rattler or Die. DaVonte got the I guess I don't even know. I don't know what you call that. The Jacktown special hat on. Um, so we're gonna get into it. I guess we'll just get straight into it. I'll ask you how you doing, DaVonte. How's everything going?
Everything's straight, man. I got the. You said I need a name for it. I guess I got the I wake up motivated hat on, so we just gonna wake up motivated with the hat. It's 3:32, so let's get into. Let's just get into it right now, man.
Yeah. So Deion, for I want to. I'll start like this. Am I mad Deion left? Of course not. Not a Jackson State fan. No, didn't really doesn't do nothing for me. What is the so I'll put it like this. What is the problem that I do have, and why do I wouldn't say I call him a sellout, but I call him a snake oil salesman. And this is where I get this from. In 2019, Deion Sanders walked into Jackson State, who had just came off a really good football season. They weren't that bad. They had the highest FCS attendance, which I'll show y'all real quick. They had the highest FCS attendance that year alone before Deion got there. This is the year before Deion got there. Jackson State had 5 home games, and they averaged 33,000 people there. So they had the highest average out of all FCS schools. And you can read that list. Those are not small FCS schools. Montana, James Madison, Alabama State, North Dakota State, and Montana State. Those are really big. Those are mostly the top FCS schools. They had the highest numbers ahead of all of them. So when Deion walked in there in 2019, he walked in there to a situation where the facilities weren't where he wanted it, where the other coach could make, he can make do with it. But the facilities wasn't where he wanted it. And the school in the area that they're in Jackson, Mississippi, is not a nicer area, of course. So when he came in there, he said, I was called by God to come take this job at Jackson State after he had just literally was coaching his high school football team and quit on them just to go to Jackson State. And mind you, this is the second time he's done this because he did it with his own school. Remember, he had his own school and he quit. He stopped that school in 2016? Then he went to go coach Shiloh at his high school. And then he leaves them at almost, I guess, I wasn't even the end of the season, I think. And he leaves them and goes to Jackson State. So now you get to now, where is this a problem now? For me, everybody wants to say Jackson State wasn't relevant before Deion got there. Or HBCs weren't relevant before Deion got there. And they weren't relevant to you guys. I'll say that. Because when I was doing Call on Tyrone, when I first started doing this show, when I first started doing my Saturday night specials, I had people coming in here asking me about HBCU football. So it's not that Deion brought it. Deion put a bigger light on it. They have never not been relevant. Let's put it like that. Sports-wise, maybe. But at schools, they have never not been relevant. So to the point of people saying, oh, Deion, everybody should be appreciative of Deion because he made Jackson State what it is right now. Jackson State has 5 Hall of Famers. That is a school with 5 Hall of Famers who had Walter Payton is the biggest one you could think of. But they've had 5 Hall of Famers. And they still were not that. They just weren't making enough revenue. They didn't have a lot of revenue coming in. Even if they did, it wasn't the same revenue they got when Deion got there. Look, we clap it up for him for doing that. You brought more revenue in there. You helped put money in these people's pockets. You helped put money in the school's pockets. Thank you. It's not that. But it's how you left the school. And I think that's the problem that I have, is how you left. Because now you have kids that you're telling not to leave the school, but other kids at the other school, oh, y'all need to get out of here because I got my own luggage. What did he say? I got my Louis bag. I got my luggage with me and it's Louis. So you telling kids at a school you just got to leave and not even stay because you bringing your own people in. You bringing everybody in that's by, your people. You're bringing 11 kids from a program that you just built up. Let's think about it like that. You're bringing 11 kids from a program you spent 2 years at and built up to take them right away from that program. But I'll let you go, DaVonte. I had to open up with that.
Yeah, I understand. Let me just pick it back about some of your takes right there. As far as people saying that Deion is what made them relevant, I'm going to let you know that that's completely incorrect. And this is based on this. Do y'all remember this movie that came out in 2002 called Drumline? What
Yeah.
culture did you think they were emulating in that movie? Show style bands. One of the best bands in the entire country. This name is the Sonic Boom of the South. What school does that come from? And then when it comes to the bands, Battle of the Bands that happens in Atlanta, y'all realize that that's what major people go to HBCUs for. That's what they got multiple Netflix documentaries for. The band style. Now, did he actually help the football program? Yes, he sure did help the football program. Nobody's ever saying that he didn't do nothing for the football program. That would be so ignorant to say that he didn't do anything for the football program. He brought them 3 of their best years. He brought them a bunch of money. That is cool. Now, it is okay for other people to have a problem with certain things he said and certain things he did. That is fine. So, as 2 black men, I'm DaVonte Hughes. That is Tyrone Mundy on my left right here. There is no reason for us as 2 black men to tell another black man they cannot go get a promotion because we are all looking forward to moving up in life. Just letting y'all know that. So, as far as we're talking about the kids at this school, there are certain kids that turn down other opportunities because they bought into what Deion Sanders said and that I'm going to be great. I'm going to do something better with my life. That's cool. We 2, 3 stars, 4 stars. They're turning down other P5 schools to come to Jackson State to play for Deion. And now that you kind of told some of them, they may not trust your word or not at this point, but say, hey, don't get into the transfer portal because the grass ain't greener on the other side. But the grass ain't green at Jackson State right now without you there neither. So, like, as far as the TV deals, the sponsorship, all that you brought there, we all know how it's going to be. Now that you're not there, they have no absolute reason to come there at all. Because while you were there, they were barely trying to shine the highlight on your kids anyway, which you had highlighted on Twitter that you were even naming the teams off that didn't come to the school to see your kids. And they were naming the kids off of, well, hey, this little bad kid, he's not doing real good in school. He should go to your school. Like, you were highlighting things like that. So now that you're not gone, unless Jackson State makes another high-profile hire, and whoever that hire is not going to have the be as charismatic as Deion Sanders. I don't think no one's going to ever be as charismatic as Deion Sanders, honestly. But
unless you go and grab T.O. or that's what Chauncey said. Chauncey said T.O. But
but I don't see Terrell. My bad. I want to get his name right. Terrell Owens is not the coaching type. We already know how he is. Honestly, he's not.
And somebody made a joke about Cam, and that would have been funny. But I think look, when you think about HBCU coaches, there's not a lot of high profile like hires. Eddie Robinson has what he's done at Alabama State and what he's done the whole he ain't swag thing. Well, I mean, he got vindicated. I mean, he said it and the dude left. Like, I mean, literally. And I remember somebody was like, oh, he only said that because he was hating. And I said, no, it's not because he was hating. It's because those coaches and all of those people that watched, everybody that knew Deion, they all knew he was leaving. Everybody knew that man was not going to stay there that long. I expect him at least to let Shador and all that class graduate. And probably Travis' class graduate. But Travis got 4 more years of eligibility. And you just made him transfer to another school to follow you. He was the number 1 recruit in the class last year. Like, the absolute number 1 best talent in the class last year. And he chose Jackson State because he fell for the snake oil and was like, oh, this is the problem that I have. And I guess I'll go into the problem that I have. The fact that you came into this program and into everybody, into the media as the black HBCU messiah. And I'm going to save HBCUs. We going to change the cultures around here. If I ain't swag, who's swag? And all of that. Just to leave. And now they're saying they offered that he said he was going to coach the Celebration Bowl. Who really going to want to play? Like, really and truly. If you are a player right now, that man ain't even going to be there, but what, for that week of the Celebration Bowl practice and then be right back to Colorado. And he gonna leave right after the game. He ain't gonna celebrate with y'all like how he did y'all at the SWAC championship, where he rushed the whole thing and hurried up the whole trophy celebration because he was trying to get to Colorado by the end of the night so he could be there in the morning for his press conference. It's gonna be the same thing again. And so, what are you doing as a player to be like, all right, coach will be back next week, so I guess we just be practicing with him till he leave. And then you already know half the other guys then already hit the transfer portal, or they done already transferred, or they are like that team is not even gonna be the same team it's gonna be by the time it plays in the Celebration Bowl because half the kids in the transfer portal, and half of them ain't even gonna be eligible to play.
The team changed as soon as he made the announcement.
Yeah,
Honestly, because you saw almost literally, I don't even think it was an hour that there were so many decommits. Because they were coming for you, not just for the school itself. They were coming for you to play for you. We want to play for Deion. So that's just what it is. I mean, you keep it as what it is. You keep it with the facts. A lot of people are going to, hey, even though you said the grass may not be green on the other side, they're going to definitely try to see where the grass is because they know, as well as we all know, that most of these NFL teams focus on PWIs. They do. No matter if they're Division I, Division II, they focus on them. They do that. Because they see it as a level of competition where there could be teams that were undefeated. Like I know there was multiple like superb teams in FCS, but are there players going to get drafted high? We know that it ain't not. Like the best.
Look at Anderson. Look at Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson. That was it. Now, as far as like HBCU, I think the highest player drafted last year was Marquise Bell. Was he drafted?
Yeah, Marquise got drafted. He was a 7th round pick.
The 7th round.
Yeah, I think he was either him or it was it Jack? I think it was either him or the boy from South Carolina State. But I know Marquise was the only player from FAMU senior class last year to actually get drafted. Everybody else got undrafted free agent deals, and half of them didn't make the teams, and they're in the XFL now. So
that's going to keep going on because we know what it is. So they could be some superb talent, and there is some superb talent, but the eyes aren't going to be there. We know that. So we're not saying, Deion had to spend his whole career down there. You can't tell nobody where to spend the rest of their life at. But it's like if you come in saying what you're going to do, it's like I know a lot of people don't like Bomani Jones. I mean, I've just heard the one clip, and I actually agree with some things he said as far as you came in there saying God led you somewhere, and then you left after 3 years. You really didn't see anything through that much right there. Honestly, you didn't.
All you saw was the facilities get built and used them for 1 year, and then was like, all right, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and it's like we can thank you for all you did, Deion. Honestly, I'm glad that he did that. I'm glad he brought a sponsorship deal. I'm glad he built some new facilities. But it's the fact that this ain't all about money. I don't understand why people keep pulling it back to that. This is the main problem people have is the kids' futures, the kids that are actually there right now who don't feel like they should play for HBCU now that the high-profile coach isn't there. That is the primary problem. It ain't about the money.
It's never going to be about the money for a lot of people. And that's the weird part. For a lot of people, it's not about the money. But everybody's main point now is, look at the money he spent. Look at the money he did. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Coaches spend money. Everybody spend money. These people now, a lot of these coaches now, look, they might be broke. They might be, they might be poor. Like, a lot of these people these alumni, let's talk about that. That's another thing where everybody wants to talk about Deion putting money into the school. The alumni. I watched FAMU's homecoming 1 year and saw almost $3 million get handed out. So you telling me Jackson State ain't doing the same stuff there? That they alumni wasn't putting their money into that school. Now, we don't know where that money was allocated to, but we know that they put money into that school. And so when you bring up, Deion spent half of his salary to help build facilities. Where the other half come from? Where the other half coming from? If he spent half of his salary to build facilities, where the other half come from? It had to come from somewhere. And if it's his salary, that means it's coming from the school. That's another thing. That's the crazy part. If it's coming from his salary, that means it's coming from the school. That means he's taking it out of his own check that the school is paying him to help build the school back up. So really, it's him basically getting, I'm not going to say the tax write-off, but He basically get all of the money that he didn't use, that he didn't get in that contract. He ended up giving it back to the school. And they built that school up. They built new dorms. They built new facilities. They built all of this stuff. But that's still the school's money. It was the school's money from the get-go. Like, you can't say, okay, he took it out of his salary. That's the school's money. His salary comes from that school. So you saying, okay, he took that school. He took it out the school. Okay, cool. Now you get into somebody saying, I think it was Chauncey was like, well, you got to give up the bread if you want to keep him. That man was going to take that job no matter what. No matter what they offered him, he was going to take that job. Look, it's a PWI and it was a top. And look, he can get all the recruits he want. He knows he can get kids to come to that school a lot easier than Jackson State.
I mean, it's primarily based on his name, and that's it. I mean, if we just want to keep it a buck, it's based on his name. Most of the recruits, yes, he is primetime Deion. He has been to the mountaintop. That's what it's going to be as far as recruiting. It ain't going to be look how much success he had in Jackson State. It's definitely not going to be that.
No, I look there. Everybody's like, oh, well, he played. I think they play like one of the big name schools, like his first game. It's like, oh, they need to make that a big noon Saturday game. If he get blown out, then what y'all gonna say? Oh, damn, we might have been wrong about Deion. Oh, he ain't gonna be successful his first year. We gotta wait till next year. He had Kirby come.
If it happens, it happens. I mean, you gotta take time to build a school up. So if he doesn't have a successful season as successful as he's had at Jackson State, then that's just what it is as being a coach. You're not going to be on top all the time. I mean, and not everybody's the UGAs, the Alabamas of the world. So, and he's building this from the ground up. He's going to Colorado, who was 1-11.
Yeah.
Deion himself is not going to change 1-11, especially if he's bringing in some of Jackson State's talent. Now, what we got to think is, are they on the P5 level of talent? We don't know until they actually play. So we don't know. Travis Hunter could be the number one recruit in the class, come there and look like he wasn't even ready. We don't know until they get on the field. So does he have the opportunity to change the landscape? Yes. It's understandable. We know. So there's just a lot of talking points that, become redundant. And especially when you brought up the alumni donation, I think someone said, I have the tweet up right now on my phone. There are over 500,000 living alumni from Colorado. Only 29,000 gave last year, and that's just about 2%.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's not.
No.
FCS and HBCU schools are almost always underfunded, man. Especially, come on now. We're talking about Jackson State. Didn't they just have a water crisis?
Literally. They just had a water crisis.
They couldn't even bathe? You had to bring water from other places? I mean, it just was a bad year last year. The amount of funding that he was bringing in wasn't changing that. They have to get a third party to fix that.
It doesn't matter. Look, if you want to look at, it's real small on our screen, so it's hard to look at. But if you look at this, this is the underness of what they should have got and what they received. And look at the amount of students they had and what they should have got. And they didn't even get that. So you can't say, oh, it's on the schools to build themselves up. It's on this to do that. It's on them to do this and that. You can't say that. Fam, you just had a housing crisis this year because they didn't have enough dorms for all the kids coming in. Like, that just happens at small schools. These are small schools. Jackson State literally had to go on the road to Miami to play FAMU and couldn't shower that whole week because they was stuck with dirty water. That just happens at small schools. That happens at HBCUs. And that's a third party thing. That's not even them. That's the city. That's not even the school can't control what come out their water. Like they got water filtration systems at the school. No, they can't control that. That's stuff that they have to tape out of everything, really, and be like, okay, we got to look at the money we just brought in and be like, okay, the football team just gave us the one game. They sold out the stadium. What's that? Look, let's say that's $100K. Okay, it's going to cost us $100K to fix this water pipe and to fix this water. Are we going to give them all that money to the football program? Or are we going to fix this water so everybody on campus can live and survive and eat? What are you going to do? You just going to be like, well, this week, guys, we can't fix the water. The football team need the money because they got to do this and that. No, you're not going to do that. as a school. You're just not going to do that. I wouldn't even do that. That's not even logical. Because if we earning money and we're earning the amounts that we need to earn to fix something at that school, I'm going to fix that before I start allocating it other places. So if it took me $50K and we earned $100K, you're going to get $50K and we're going to take $50K from it. Or if it's going to take $70K, you're going to get $30K. It's simple math. And even if it's an underpayment to the coaches, you have to realize y'all make so much. You can make money elsewhere as a coach. And we know Prime ain't lacking for no money. Because he got sponsors, he got personal sponsorships. Like, it's not like he's just sitting there not making money because he ain't getting paid from the school. And if he did, he took a salary cut for a reason because he's making money elsewhere. So I don't see where this whole money discussion has come from because the man makes money no matter what. It doesn't matter if they paid him or not. He was still going to make money. And if anything, if he knew how bad that school was, he should have been like, all right, let me at least my first year get my whole salary away. Let's fix everything so we don't have to worry about my next 2 or 3 years on this contract. And they can pay me consistently. That's all it took.
So the question becomes, when did it become about the money? Because at what we're talking about is a collegiate university, a historically Black collegiate university. We're talking about the opportunities that it can provide for them after they leave the school. It's not about how much Deion gets paid at this point.
Yeah,
that's what the conversation is about. So no, as you see the title, is Deion Sanders a sellout? We are not calling him a sellout. That's just a title. And no, it's too many people that just want to label other Black men, want to just label people and just go out the window. Oh, Deion's this, Deion that. First of all, after this video, I'm not going to talk about it no more, honestly, because at the end of the day, my last name is Hughes. It ain't Sanders. My first name ain't Shiloh. So I'm not going to benefit from nothing he's doing. All we're talking about is, okay, I graduated college last year. So me knowing that, I can afford different opportunities based off where I went. But we know that there are athletes, and we already know how tumultuous the life of a student athlete is. Now, couple that with where they were at, Jackson, Mississippi, which itself as a city is not a bad city. My family from there. But going through the crisis where they went, now you're asking kids who just went through there, it's like, you staying for the culture or are you going to stay for the betterment of your career?
Yeah.
But you obviously know now that Deion isn't there, the betterment for your career is not staying. So you already know, like most of the team is not going to be there. You already got people committed. You already got people transfer portal. You already know how that's going to be. So that's just what it is at the end of the day. Jackson State, they're going to say, are they going to be better than where he left them? Financially, yes. As far as the football program, no, of course not.
Unless you go and get somebody, I can't think of nobody like free agent coaching wise or somebody, because a lot of coaches ain't going to leave the money they had already. And so it was a thing where, like I say, FAMU's coach was in the circulation for months. I mean, like since November, he was one of the coaches that was like, "Hey, if it's a coach that can go from the FCS level to the FBS level, it would be him." Right? That was just automatic. That he was one of the heck. It was him and Deion. It was 1 and 2, and so Deion left, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, Willie might leave." And then every job his name was in got filled, and we was like, "Oh, he ain't trying to leave." And his whole thing was he was going to be loyal to what a team that gave him his shot at being a head coach. And he was going to sit there and stand beside him. And I'm not asking Deion for that same type of loyalty. I at least would have rathered him stay for at least one graduating class. At least one. Like, bro, you didn't stay for a graduating class. You know how bad that has to be for you to not see one graduating class? Kirby's gone through 3, maybe 4 now since he's been there. And they have all been guys that might not have started, but they've been graduates that he recruited and he got to come there. And he's seen them develop and he's seen them going through his program. So now, now you don't have a reason. You can't be like, oh, well, he left because it was a better opportunity. Okay, cool. We're fine with that. He left because the money wasn't right. It's always never going to be right when you're an FCS coach. You're never going to be a millionaire coach when you're at FCS level. That's just not. That's unheard of.
we know that nobody goes there because this is the best opportunity to make money. You go there because you want to build up your resume, you want to learn, you want to help build a tradition. That's why he went there. That's actually one of the quotes of where he said he wanted to go there to build up the HBCUs. So the problem is how he said he was going to do things and how he left things off. So had he not said that and went there and as if he was the best thing smoking to ever come through Jackson, Mississippi, no one would be saying nothing. But hey, man, good job. I mean, awesome, bro. Go to Colorado, change that program, man. That's awesome. But it's like he was talking like he was talking like he was Don Shula or somebody from the come down to SDS. Honestly, and I know I got this hat on. This is because my father gave me this hat, man. That's it. And my father gave me this hat. I got it on. I support HBCUs. My sister graduated from HBCU. So, like, I wish the situation was better for every single one of them, but it's just not. That's exactly why people want to get out of there and go to the PWIs because they know if it's individually for their career, the HBCUs ain't finna get the certain looks. When it was like, what was it, Mikey Williams? What was it, Core Maker? When they was going there and saying they were gonna change the culture, where they at now?
Mikey's going to Memphis, and I don't know where. I think Mocker actually ended up going to Hampton, but then I think he transferred. So they didn't even commit to what they said they was gonna do.
Like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's exactly, and I'm not saying it's different when you are telling a kid to commit to something like that. When there's somebody that has been through it, then went through Florida State, then went to the NFL, and literally one of the best kick returns, one of the best corners in the NFL. He don't have to coach. He wants to coach. He didn't have to do anything he had to do, especially, and we're not talking about the money. Let's just nothing to do with the money. He didn't have to say anything of how he said, but it's almost in every single interview he's had. He was God's gift to football.
Yeah. He was God's gift. He was God's gift to HBCUs. That was his whole thing. He was, like I said, I always gonna say he was supposedly the Black Messiah for HBCUs, and that's how he promoted.
He ended up leaving in 3 years tops. So yes, it is okay for people to support him and keep supporting him. It's okay for people to A, support him, and B, just have a problem with how he left. I'm sitting here with the hat on. I'm not gonna sit here and bash Deion and say he's a bad anything. I hope he has the most success at Colorado. I hope his kids graduate. I hope they end up making it in the NFL. Honestly, I hope they do because I want to see more. I want to see more coaches' kids in the NFL anyway. Not even coaches' kids. I mean just players' kids anyway. Because we already know sometimes the second, third generation don't get as much hype as the first. So yeah. I hope that. I really do. So to me, on my opinion, it's just a lot of people. It is okay to have a different opinion. I hope they move on to better pastures. So once this conversation is over, I mean, hell, we saw Reverend Raphael Warnock win the Senate. It almost feel like they kind of battled for the conversation. It was like, is we gonna talk about Deion or is some people gonna be voting? I mean, like,
yeah,
certain things are just more important at the same time. So this is because felt like talking about it, felt like getting on the show and just letting our thoughts be known. You know, we not haters. We actually hope. If he don't even stay at Colorado, I hope he goes to another school. I hope he goes to his dream school at Florida State. I hope he did. I really do.
And see, that's the thing. That was another thing that I want to read today. I want to read this, and this just goes back to the kids' point. It says after the talk with the new Colorado football coaching staff, I no longer have an offer to play football at CU. The last 9 weeks, I was told by Rick George that I still had an offer and the opportunity to play at the University of Colorado. But I believe everything happens for a reason as God has a plan for me. Recruits, I cannot stress enough. College football is strictly a business, and coaches and AD will do the best for them. I would like to say thank you to Coach Darryl and Coach Devin for believing in me and my athletic abilities to play P5 football. With that being said, my recruitment is 100% open, and I'm looking for a new home. That's one. And then we go to this one. This is my commitment from the University of Colorado. I want to thank Coach Patterson and Coach Durrell for believing in me. I wish you nothing. I wish you all the best. This being said, my recruitment is 100% open. So here gets to this point where that kid just said he had 9 weeks straight of talking to the coach and saying, yeah, you can come coach, you can still play at CU. You can still play at CU. You can still play at CU. And not even 24 hours since Deion got there, have them kids then had to lose their offers and decommit and have to reopen a recruitment 100%. Because, and mind you, they had been stuck on, I'm going to go to Colorado. I'm from Colorado. A lot of them were from Colorado. Some of them weren't, but they were still big on the program. And you come in and say, like I said, I'm bringing my Louis bags. I'm bringing all my baggage. If you can't take it, hit the transfer portal. And so now have your team gone, because now Colorado barely has any players because a lot of them are in the transfer portal because they're not going to do what Deion's going to bring. And they know at the point of it, they might still not be good for at least a year or two. Like, let's be honest, it's a whole different ball game. Like, we don't know what Shadura looked like at the P5 level. We don't know what these other guys. We don't know what Travis Hunter's going to look like at the P5 level because they didn't play P5 football last year, and we don't know what all of these other guys are going to look like when they come up from Jackson State, like you said, DaVonte, or we don't know what they're going to look like in general. So you would think at your hardest, and then you're in and this is the thing for me is that if I know I'm coming into a situation and I'm not going to be at my best at it, or not, let's not say my best, but I'm not going to be at I'm not going to come in there and start kicking kids out. Like, that's the first thing you did was just come in there and start kicking kids out. What does that do for you, really and truly? It does nothing for you. It's really bad that a lot of those kids thought, okay, I got a future here. This is my school. And both sides, and this was the problem that I had, is because both sides now have to deal with this realization that I'm not going to be able to play at Colorado or I'm not going to be able to play at Jackson State. And now I'm going to have to hit the transfer portal because if I'm at Jackson State, I don't have the draw no more. Nobody coming to look at me, like, unless they're alumni. And, I mean, the thing about it is, like I say, Jackson State has such a big alumni, and HBCUs have become a point to where, okay, everybody wants to praise this 2-year stretch, the 3-year stretch of what he did there. Oh, he made the HBCU combine. He did this. He did that. But, dog, it's that could have been made by anybody that came in there that was high profile. Let's be honest. Eddie George is now a coach at Tennessee State. Like, what is his name? Oh my gosh. Not Marvin Lewis. What is that man's name? He used to coach the Browns. The other black guy that coached the Browns. He's a coach at Grambling.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, he's the coach at Grambling. Like, they're coaches now that are going to go down. And there's a lot of old coaches that are like, okay, you were supposed to start a revival, and now you might just turn it into something that it's not supposed to be. Because now kids are decommitting from HBCUs in general, not even just Jackson State. It's HBCUs in general that you're ruining because there's kids now that were 3 stars, 4 stars, like, man, I ain't even go there no more. Now, we've had some just automatic. Like, we had a kid that's going to Tennessee State, 3-star lineman. Cool. He stayed. He realized he can still have an opportunity there. But a lot of these kids, now that he's gone, you basically messed up what a lot of kids' perception is. Because think about it, if I'm 18, 19, and I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, I got all these offers. And I look down at my phone, and I'm like, dang, Jackson State right there. I might as well go play for Deion. And I look down at my phone, and I see Deion Sanders has left Jackson State, and he's going to Colorado. Well, forget it, bro. All these HBCU offers, shoot, put them out the window. I'm finna go play P5 ball, and that's wrong. That's the worst part about it, and that's the thing that you're giving them you're showing kids that, and it's weird because it's 1,000 kids in the transfer portal right now, 1,000. Like he said, some of them gonna die and some of them gonna get lost, but most of them kids probably gonna get offers or they're gonna get PWOs. Like, bro, you kind of set that though a lot of kids up to be weird. Like, they're not gonna. It's going to be a fall off now because there's no the draw that he brought was something that you can't commit. Like you got to say he brought that draw. But a lot of those kids, like now, especially at that age, like I'm not going to HB. I'm not going to Jackson State at all. Like there's nobody there for me to go. Like I go on. What are you gonna do on a visit to Jackson State now? Because there's no prom. Like there's nobody dancing on the sideline. The crowd always gonna rock. I say that Jackson State always gonna rock. The band always gonna rock. And it's not like they can't get quality players. They're still gonna get quality players, no matter what. It'll still be a change where kids still want to go to HBCUs. But it's still to the fact of you just messed up a lot. And it messed with it's gonna mess with these kids' head for a long time. And they're gonna sit there and really sit back and be like, dang, like I should have went somewhere else. Because Travis really right now, I know he's probably like, dang, now I got to move all the way from Jackson all the way to Colorado. And the fact Deion's manager, it was two comments that really like ticked me off about this. It was the one he said on the podium talking about it was a nicer neighborhood than where he was at Jackson. That was when I was like, okay, so that was a shot. And then the second one, his manager walking down the hallway talking about, oh, we can finally breathe fresh air. Like, that's
it comes to say what you. It's like a say what you really mean at that. At that
yeah,
point.
Really and truly.
It's like
that's what
if
you
you feel like where you are is just dirty. I mean, you don't got to say that, bro. You didn't got. I'm not saying Deion specifically said it. I know his manager said that part, but it's the fact of just leave and be proud that you're going somewhere. You don't got to say stuff like that. You don't got to hurry up championship celebration. You don't got to make and be one of the most. I seen the video. He looked like he was one of the most the person that wasn't even there. Like
he wasn't even happy about it. Like it was no celebration.
And then his signing there allowed Josh McCown's son Owen McCown literally just left as soon as he saw that.
Yeah,
because he already knows Shador is going to be. No matter he talking about. I know Deion said that Shador is going to have to earn it, but we know what that means, bro. Come on, I done been on teams where the coaches sons was on the team, man. Come on now. Shador is going to start for that P5, and you are going to do your hardest to make sure that he gets to the NFL from your coaching. So my thing is this: when it comes back to going back to the HBCUs, I can't tell a man how to live his life, but I do think it would have been more opportunistic for him to stay with the graduating class, allow for his teachings and his coaching to specifically highlight them as far as them getting drafted. So now it's like, if he stayed there and it's like, okay, damn, Deion Sanders is doing a great job at Jackson State. They're getting drafted in the 5th round, 4th round now,
Yeah.
But now it's like he leaves, and now it's like he's taking some of those guys. They're not even going to be remembered for their time at Jackson State at all. It's going to be, okay, what they did at Colorado now.
Yeah.
So all of that
that's
is going to
especially Travis. Especially Travis. Like, bro, he has no Jackson State history. Like, bro, he had a okay freshman year, and he dealt with injuries his whole freshman year. And after that, like, he at Colorado now. So the rest of his 4 years of college is going to be nothing but Colorado stuff. Nobody's going to remember that 1 year at Jackson State, really and truly. Nobody's going to remember the number 1 recruit in the country going to Jackson State. They're going to remember him going to Colorado. Like, there's stuff like that where you got to think, what impact did it have? And for him to go up and like, to go up on that podium and, oh, Shador, stand up. That's the QB1. Like, bro, that's daddy ball. You playing daddy ball. And when you was at Jackson State, oh, we ain't going to play daddy ball around here. That ain't going to happen. But now you get to Colorado, oh, we finna play daddy ball. I'm bringing all my people in. I'm bringing my son. He the quarterback one. All of this. Bro, you changing a whole, you got to rebuild that program, and you going to rebuild it off rip with daddy ball. Like, wait till when Shador leave and all of them leave, then what's your backup plan? You gonna leave again and go to another school? Like, what is your real goal at that point? Because it doesn't make sense to be, he gonna have to earn it, but the main quarterback there just left. He ain't earning nothing now. Like, what is he gonna earn? He QB1 at this point. Ain't no earning that. Like, he QB1. The main QB1 just left. Ain't no other quarterbacks. Ain't no other quarterback gonna sit there and sit behind Shador. Really?
And with no question to ask, he left. Like as soon as the signing occurred.
Oh yeah, as soon as Deion signed the contract in Colorado, he left. Like, I mean, it was literally, I think we got the report of Deion signed, and like 2 hours later, he was in the transfer portal. So, and it's gonna be a lot more kids in the transfer portal. And you can't. And I think another problem is that he keeps putting God in it. Like, bro, stop trying to put God in when you're a mess. Every time it's a move, man, God led me to this. Man, God doing this. I mean, you know, God. I think he just tweeted something like, when God whisper in your ear, you can't, and he tells you your new calling, you can't be mad, or something like that. And I'm just like, bro, you don't have to keep relying on that. Like, let it go. Like, cool, you got a new job. Just say, I'm glad I got this new job. You can't just keep involving the same every tweet, everything. Man, you know, God just this and God is that, and God led me here. And you know, when God whisper in your ear when you need to come to a new program, like, bro, it's stupid. Like, stop doing it. Like, that's why that's the snake oil salesman. You just keep pushing this whole agenda, like God led me, God led me, God led me. And then what? Nothing. Like, nothing. You're not doing nothing. But we're gonna end it on this one, and I think this is one that was really just it's a cause and effect. And I think I sent you this when I showed you it. I think a lot of people saw it. But Shannon Sharp said, I went to HBCU, but only because I was a Prop 48. I worked out great. It worked out great for you. Had I had the grades coming out of high school, I wouldn't have chosen the HBCU. Right? So he doubled back on it and said, and somebody said that doesn't read well. He said, I don't care how it reads. I'm telling you how I feel. So now the way that sounds is that only because I was dumb, I chose to go to Savannah State. Like, that's what you're making it sound like.
Fact, I did ask you. I said, well, what was a Prop 48? Because I didn't know, and then I ended up, Googling it and finding out. But it's like, you're in the Savannah State. I think it's the Savannah Sports Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, he's in the Savannah Sports Hall of Fame, and I think he's in the Savannah. So I think he's in their college Hall of Fame too.
So it's like, yeah, you did get this opportunity, and it was one of the only opportunities that you was going to get. And you're saying that you don't care how it reads? It reads off as if, man, if I was smart enough, man, that's cool.
Yeah,
I would have went to whatever school at the time would have been a great school. Let me go with, let's say Miami. I would have went to Miami. I would have went here. I would have went there. I don't feel like that's something you should say. Being the person you are, being the person that you shout out Savannah State, even in your Hall of Fame speech. You shout out how good the school was and how grateful you were for that opportunity. Now, in your defense of Deion, you're saying, well, man, if my grades were straight, I wouldn't even went there. So what are you trying to say?
That was another thing where he was like, oh, well, because Prop 48 is if you didn't have the grades coming out of high school, you couldn't play as a freshman. And so he was like, well, I was going. The way he put it was that I had other offers, but because I didn't want to sit my freshman year, I still went to Savannah State. So now you saying because you was dumb and you wasn't going to be able to play at that other school, I went to Savannah State. That's really what you're saying. I was too dumb to play my freshman year. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to Savannah State. That's really what you said.
So that's why we hit it on the nail and just say, hey, I mean, just say that, man, I'm grateful for the opportunity that Savannah State gave me. It's led me to where I am. It ain't just you playing for the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens that led you to that season run and skip, man. It's really not. And that's not me trying to come out in front of the defense of all HBCUs, because I literally just told y'all where I went to school. When you go to school and you put that work in and then you graduate, after that, that's affords you opportunities. So, you may have not intentionally put down Savannah State, but you did when you said that. Literally, in my career, had I had the grades, I would not have chosen that school. So let me ask you again, Shannon Sharp, why do people choose those schools then?
Literally.
Are you going to say just because of the culture? Yes, people do choose those schools because of the culture. But are you telling me that if you have the grades, you shouldn't even put them on your mind? That shouldn't even be on your list?
Yeah. That's what it sounds like he's trying to say. And that's the worst part about it. Because, dog, we really and truly, they felt like you was just, It just felt like so wrong that he said that. And then he gets on TV and it's like, oh, well, you know, how he put it. Oh, he was like, oh yeah, Deion's giving is gonna be able to fill his staff up with less opportune, blah blah blah, and this and that. Well, his OC now is Kent State head coach, who is a white man. His DC, I don't think they announced it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a white man. His tight end coach right now, Tim Brewster, is a white man. The only black man that they have said Deion might hire is Willie Taggart, and he just got fired at FAU or FIU, it's something like that.
It's FAU. Well, like if that was true that he's bringing up, not players but coaches that have lesser opportunities. Okay, so bring more people from your staff. How many people are coming from the Jackson State staff?
We haven't even got no reports that anybody was coming.
How many people come from other HBCU staffs to come coach at the PWI so they can get better resumes?
The only person that's coming from his staff that we know of is Tim Brewster, and that's the tight end coach. That's the white man I was talking about.
So what I'm saying is, if he's bringing up guys that don't have them as much of an opportunity as he has, where are they?
You could have won a guy.
Saying pull from Jackson State. You said HBCUs. There's many of those. Pull somebody from Tennessee State. Pull
some of these guys that can show you that were D1 level coaches and were FBS level coaches that went down to FCS that were black, that you can bring them back up and build their resumes back up to what it should be, and that they can actually, have something on their resume like, okay, I went from here and I went down to FCS, I coached at HBCU, I came back up to PWI, I came to coach with Deion, we went and had success here. Now I can go be a head coach somewhere else. If I got to go down to FCS level to be a head coach, I'll go back down to FCS level to be a head coach. If I want to go to, if an FBS school gives me the opportunity, they give me the opportunity. But no, you and go and get one of the whitest men I've seen, and from Kent State to be your OC, that could have been, or that could have been anybody from a HBCU level that was black. And there was a head coach that might have just wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to go chill with Deion up there in Colorado. But no, you want to be a staff that wants to win. And what does that say about you? You want to win, but you want to be so pro-black and you want to change the culture around there. That's gonna be a weird looking look when you got all these white coaches on the sideline. You supposed to be this black power person. You supposed to be elevating black coaches.
We let's end it off with this, man. I'll just say this: if Deion at the end of the day is going to be Deion, then that is fine. That's all we're saying. It's fine, but don't come in with the rhetoric that you were doing something specific for other people if that's not what's going on. That's all I'm saying. So I didn't know certain things. So if he's saying that he's for HBCUs and building them up, you know what will build them up? Making sure those guys that are there get promoted and get opportunities elsewhere, because it's gonna make sure that, hey, I can go to a HBCU and go and get a better job at a PWI. It ain't I got to be Deion Sanders, because if Deion Sanders ain't Deion Sanders, who else is getting that opportunity?
Nobody.
I know I haven't called this man Coach Prime. I want to use his full name. So Deion Sanders, if you are not Deion Sanders, if you do not play with the Atlanta Falcons, the 49ers, the Cowboys, when you ended your career for the Ravens, if you didn't do all that, you ain't on TV, you ain't in the Hall of Fame with your bandana, if you ain't do all that, how many times at the end of the day are those type of guys that are just been in the trenches, have been just building their resumes, that can't even get out of high school coaching, get the same opportunities that you're afforded? So
it's high school coaches that've been undefeated for years. They ain't got one college coaching anything, not even an offensive coordinator job. They've been undefeated for 20 years.
All I'm saying is bring them up. Those guys that you're mentioning that's been undefeated, that's been killing it on that level, bring them up and show what their actual talent is on that level. So you can say, you know where, I got him from Alabama State. I got him from Jackson State. Now y'all need to go there and look for these coaches because they have the talent, and go look for these players because they actually have the talent. Do that. That's all I'm asking from them. So if you want to become a pipeline, if you want to create a tree, then start there. Bring up the coaches that you known and have coached against and have coached with.
Yeah, literally. like I say, you know, end of the show. Thank y'all for watching. Whoever came in here and watched, I saw no one. I saw Night. Thank y'all for coming in. If you enjoyed the show, give it a like on YouTube. Go over to YouTube, subscribe at Feed the Sports. Not at Feed the Sports. That's the Twitter. At what is it? Feed the Sports Podcast. So go on YouTube, give it a like. Man, that was a good show. I mean, we had a good talk. I don't have my finishing quote, and comes from being that I've been around the recruiting for a while, and I've been following these recruiters for a while. What you do to kids, mental and physical, when you give them this false hope, it does immeasurable damage to them. Because now a lot of these kids that were committed to Jackson State might not even get the opportunity to go to Colorado. They might not even get reoffered. Think about that. That's all I have to say. With that, we're going to get out of here. You got anything else?
Man, you know what? That's the I know it says Cookie by Nature right there. That's my Twitter handle. But now my name is DaVonte Hughes. Just being formal with y'all. I know we're talking about Deion Sanders. That's his name. My name is DaVonte Hughes. Right there on my left is Tyrone Monday. We call him TJ. He has a Field of Sports podcast. That's exactly where you're watching us now. Follow us on all social media circles. And if you want to keep talking about anything sports, come holler at us, man. That's all I got to say. Holler at us. Talk about anything sports. We're going to keep it up.
And with that, we out of here. Peace.